Question: who's the black private dick that's a sex machine to all the chicks? Shaft! You damn right. What's going on, everybody? Thank you very much for watching. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. As you no doubt have guessed, this is my review of the 1971 classic, Shaft. This movie was directed by Gordon Parks, who directed movies like The Learning Tree and Leadbelly, and stars Richard Roundtree, who starred in movies like Firehouse, also in a film with Robert Shaw, Diamonds. He was in a movie with Peter O'Toole, Man Friday. He was also in a movie with Chuck Norris, Eye for an Eye. And of course, there is One Down, Two to Go, which also starred Jim Kelly and had Jim Brown and Fred Williamson. And this is one of those movies that I came to kind of late in life, heard a lot about growing up, but once I watched it when I was in my early 20s, fell in love with it instantly. This is a movie that's a lot of fun. Richard Roundtree in the role of private detective John Shaft is a joy to watch as we see him for the first time walking down the street to that great theme from Isaac Hayes, which won an Academy Award back in the day for Best Song. At the very beginning of the movie, when we meet Shaft for the first time, he's walking the streets of New York as we hear that iconic Isaac Hayes theme play throughout the opening credits, and then we see Shaft get stopped by a couple of white cops that want to lean on him for some information about a guy named Bumpy Jonas, this local gangster. Very soon following this, we have a scene where Shaft arrives in his office and he finds Bumpy Jonas himself waiting for him because he has a proposition for Shaft. It turns out that his daughter has been kidnapped and he needs Shaft to help him find her. Although he has his suspicions, Shaft agrees to take the case, and before we know it, we see a little montage of Shaft walking the streets of Harlem, asking questions of different people on the street, trying to find the whereabouts of this kidnapped girl, to a little tune called Soulsville, a very nice song. As a matter of fact, all the songs throughout this movie are a lot of fun to listen to as you watch Shaft do his thing. Shaft is a detective movie, but this is also an action movie. There is a good amount of action in the film, and the scenes in terms of like the shootouts and stuff are well staged and well shot. But the very first fight scene in the film that you see, I have to admit, made me laugh. And I don't think the laughs were supposed to be intentional. Something about the way it was shot, some of the reaction shots, and then the scene is capped off with the funniest moment in the entire film, which is a guy avoiding Shaft and just jumping out of the window. I guess Shaft was way too tough and scary for him to want to fight. And then we have a scene where we see Shaft is not just a fighter but also a lover. We see him come home to his girlfriend's place and they have a little them time. Shaft rocks the Casbah a little bit, feels completely random. As a matter of fact, lots of little interactions that he has with the females in this movie feel just out of nowhere. There is one scene where there's a couple of mob guys that are following him because they're trying to ambush him. He asks this one guy on the street that he knows to turn on the light in his apartment, and when the light comes on, these guys are in a bar and they're looking and they see the light is on, so they figure Shaft must be there. But Shaft is actually at the bar pretending to be a bartender. I've always really liked this scene because it demonstrates how smart Shaft is and his ability to think on his feet and improvise in the middle of a sticky situation. He makes a phone call over to his cop buddies to come on down. And the same time, while he's about to make this bust with these two mob guys, there is this gay guy that comes over to him that says, "Hey, this cute girl over there, she wanted me, but I'm not into her, and so if you want her, she wants you." And so Shaft is able to capture these guys, pull this cute girl. After Shaft talks to a $20 snitch on the street about the possible whereabouts of the kidnapped daughter of Bumpy Jonas, he's pointed in the direction of a guy called Ben, who used to be one of Shaft's friends back in the day. And on top of everything, you also got a couple of cops in the NYPD that are trying to come down on Shaft and interfere with his investigation. Luckily for Shaft, he does have an ally with the cops, a guy named Vic, who does what he can to give Shaft a bit of leeway so that he can operate. Aside from the very first fight scene in the film, which to me always comes off as unintentionally funny, to me this is a damn near perfect 1970s action movie. It is well written, it is well paced, plenty of action in the film, the dialogue is a lot of fun. I just love the way everyone talks in this film. You hear things like "stay loose" or "don't jive me," and I always get a big kick out of the way Richard Roundtree calls everyone baby throughout the movie. But this movie also has a great soundtrack and that funky 70s soul vibe, and great action. Fun movie. I give it 4 stars. Yeah, that's right, 4 stars. 1971's Shaft is a 4-star film. Those of you out there that are like, "but you gave The French Connection 3 stars, that's a Best Picture winner." So, my channel, my opinion, 4 stars. Y'all know I'm a physical media kind of guy, so you know I'm going to have my copy of the film right here next to me. Boom. I showed it to you guys earlier at the start, so you know I had it. But yeah, 1971's Shaft. As you can see there, the great Richard Roundtree. I'm sure many of you grew up with the remake that came out in 2000 starring Samuel L. Jackson. I've never really seen that entire movie. I've always seen parts of it. But maybe one day I'll check it out so I can talk about it on the channel and give my honest thoughts on it. But for now, I'm going to leave you with my 1971 review of the original Shaft. Never mess with the original. Thank you all very much for watching this classic movie review. I always appreciate it. If you're into movies, if you're into the classics, if you're new to the channel, hit the bell, become a subscriber. Please don't forget to comment, share, like. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for your support. I always appreciate you. Everybody take care of each other. Peace out. Till next time, God bless.